on, guys.
This is what you thought it was, the roundup. Adrien the Problem Broner, man, you know, AB, Archbishop, Alligator Bait. Well, it's official. Adrien Broner, I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving. That's word to Wolf of Wall Street. In a brand new post on social media, Adrien Broner said this. God sent me a message and I see he isn't done with me. I've been doing things the wrong way and tarnishing all the blessings and chances he has been giving me. I've made my mind up and I'm taking full advantage of this opportunity he has given me today. I see everything more clear and I have a better understanding with myself. The problem will be back soon. Hashtag about billions. Listen, I said it before, I'm gonna say it again. My thoughts haven't really changed. I'm not a person that typically tells a fighter when to retire. They could do whatever they want. It's their career. These fighters have egos, they have pride, they have bills, you know, so I can't tell someone when to stop working. You know, I don't know how their life is set up, so I rarely do that, but sometimes I chime in with my opinion. For me, my opinion hasn't changed. Adrien Broner's had a hell of a career, but at this point, what do you even do? You got your tooth knocked out. You got dropped by a guy like Blair Cobbs that most believe in your prime you would have beaten probably, you know what I mean? And you're getting hurt, dropped, tooth rocked out. I just really don't know where you even go from there. Like, if anything, with Don King, you should have took a couple tune-ups to get you back in the swing of things and then built up to the Blair Cobbs fight. But that's not what was chosen, so we have to go off of what actually happened. And what happened was you lost to Blair Cobbs. Now, I know Broner is in denial, if you will. He said, that ninja didn't beat me. He showed heart, but I thought he lost the fight. So we disagree there. And, you know, best of luck to Broner. I don't know, again, where he even goes. And it's unfortunate because a lot of fighters, I don't know if they're financially set up for these moments where it goes dark and you don't look like the same fighter. So as a result, they just fight forever. And, you know, that's a heck of a predicament. That's why you got to salute the Andre Wards and the Floyd Mayweathers who really got out on their terms and left the game, faculties intact, great performances, left off of great wins, things like that, because other people are not the same. The other thing that I've said, even in my first video, where I was talking about the Broner Cobbs loss, is I don't believe that you can reverse the clock in some scenarios when you damage and abuse your body, put poison in your body, substance abuse, drinking, gaining a lot of weight in boxing, and then you finally get your mind right at whatever age, 33, 35, and then now you want to try to reverse the clock and take back what you did and how this even came to be. Like, it doesn't work like that. You know, I know people personally who have died from different things, but including, but not limited to, cirrhosis, like cirrhosis of the liver. Because I knew somebody who, they were substance abusers and, you know, alcoholics and stuff. So all that damage you did to your liver, it doesn't just go away. You know, it didn't happen overnight. It took years to get like this. If you look at cirrhosis, and to get your body in that condition, in that state, it's not an easy fix. And depending on what drugs and what substances you abuse and stuff like that, your body may never forgive you. You know, people, I've watched documentaries and stuff where people, they do meth and then now they have permanent damage to their nervous system and they have like tics and involuntary things that happen with their body based on decisions. You know, they could be 50 years old, 60 years old, and this is based on decisions they made when they were 20. So you only have one body, one temple. Don't waste it. Don't abuse it. And you only have one life. So take full advantage of that. I truly believe that. And it's unfortunate because with the fame comes money, women, you know, all the vices for fighters. And unfortunately, a lot of the fighters don't play it smart and they end up putting themselves in a position where they have to continue to fight and they party and don't have any restraint. That's why for me, as time goes on, you got to just give it to Floyd. He's literally the GOAT, because how did Floyd conquer boxing and put up these performances for 25 plus years at this level and remain disciplined? Like, just think of your own personal life. I'm sure there was a moment in your life where you were out of shape. This man has at least had to stay in shape for 25 years. You've never seen Floyd with like a crazy beer belly and looking mad sloppy. We've seen it with Ricky Hatton. We've seen it with Broner. We've seen it with a ton of other fighters where there is at least a moment in their careers where they look out of shape. So you got to applaud the guys like Floyd Mayweather. It's very incredible. See, the thing is, the average person, I could talk about this, and look, Floyd's on the screen right now. Look, chipped up, shredded. And I could talk about this all day because I'm not trying to preach at you. I'm just telling you what it is and how I feel. At the end of the day, most people's lives, unless you're a celebrity or a pro athlete, your life is not under a microscope. So you can get fat, lose the weight, stuff like that. Plus, you're not being punched in the face for a living. These fighters that are getting punched in the face, you only have but so long. Your window is limited. Boxing is largely a young man's game. So you got to take advantage of that window. And guys like Broner, they did a lot. 4-division champ by age 24, but they also mixed in things that you probably shouldn't do. Not probably, things that you shouldn't do as a boxer. And that's why the back half of the career might not be as sweet. But best of luck to Broner. In other news, and Teofimo tries to give tips to Frank Martin on how he can beat Gervonta Tank Davis. In a brand new interview with Fight Hub, Teo says, quote, "I think if Frank Martin goes and presses Tank Davis without showing him any respect, then we should see a different type of outing. If he comes in there respecting the power and the hype behind Gervonta Davis, then I believe that it will be an early night for Frank Martin." Now, one thing I noticed a lot, when Gervonta Tank Davis is about to fight somebody, I notice people who aren't fighting Tank but are in or around that division, every single time they're being interviewed, you see them and it's almost like they're trying to be slick and give tips to the opponent of Tank Davis. What do I mean? So Teofimo here is a prime example. Teofimo, he's basically trying to sneak in some coaching and give Frank Martin what he believes to be the blueprint in order to beat Tank Davis. And I find that funny because most people, unless there's some hidden agenda or ulterior motive, you ask them about a fight and then they're probably going to pick who they pick and then keep it pushing. But with Tank specifically, Tank gets so much hate. I notice it's almost like people are trying to help the opponent battle Tank. So it's like they're trying to be a chief second or a coach, like, oh, Frank Martin, he needs to do this and things like that. And it's almost like wishful thinking. You're hoping and wishing that the person can accomplish. But even in listening to what Teofimo is saying, it's a lot easier said than done. He's saying, don't respect Tank's power and his aura and the face of boxing stuff and just go in there and not respect him. I mean, guys will make you respect him, because I don't really agree with what Teo's saying, to be honest, because if Frank Martin went in there and he just starts wilding out and not trying to show no respect, Tank is a great counterpuncher and he has speed and power. So he looks like he had a hell of a training camp. So that looks like it could spell problems, especially early if you go in there trying to do that. We'll ultimately see this Saturday, but the reason guys have certain reputations is because of who they are. Like David Benavidez has a reputation, Better Bill, Gervonta Davis. There's a reason for that. You can't just go in there foolishly and like guns blazing, like, oh, you know, on some Braveheart stuff. Sons of Scotland, I am William Wallace, son of the great William. You go in there and get sat down. trying to be Rambo or whatever, and then just run up on Tank. So I don't really know, but if you know, you know. Tell me if you realized and seen this with people. They're like trying to give the blueprint and game plan to the opponent, because it's like, listen to their breakdown. It's never what Tank needs to do. It's always what the opponent needs to do. So that shows you what it really is. Because if you're just doing a fight breakdown, you will give a pro fight breakdown, the pros and cons of both fighters, not really just say, oh, this is what one guy can do, but the other guy, you know, I'm not even going to break down what he can and can't do. So that shows you a level of respect that they have for Tank. And basically, it sounds like Teofimo believes that Tank should win unless Frank Martin fights whatever style that he believes gives him the advantage and makes it more advantageous for him. So I just find that funny. It's not just Teofimo. I found other fighters to do this, where they're literally trying to give the blueprint and sneak in clues and tips to beat Tank. There's only one Tyson Fury. Man, oh man, how quickly things change in the world of boxing. Tyson Fury from sugar to a brand new video leaks of Tyson Fury. There's only one Tyson Fury. Brand new video leaks. Tyson Fury appears to be blackout drunk. This is, of course, after his loss. He lost his undefeated professional record to Southpaw and the new undisputed fighter, Oleksandr Usyk of the Ukraine. Wow. Now, I gotta be real with you guys. This is a bad look for Tyson Fury to be former lineal champion, WBC champion, and literally, I don't even know if it's been a month since the Usyk fight. Probably not, because I think the fight was like May 18th. It's been very little time since that fight. And you have Tyson Fury getting face drunk to the point where he's blacking out. Now, what is shocking is the sheer size of Tyson Fury. He's a big dude, gargantuan, 6'9" guy who weighs almost 300 pounds. So he's not a little dude. So how much alcohol do you have to even consume to be this drunk to the point where you're like blackout drunk and spilling around and people are having to keep you upright? I mean, Tyson Fury literally looks no different than the 9th round where he was looking woozy and Usyk jumped on him. But instead of Usyk, it's vodka or whatever he was drinking that got him, I'm starting to feel a little woozy here. Got him feeling woozy and spilling around to the point where the ref needed to help Fury out, and it looks like his friends or whoever, family members, are trying to keep him upright. And then he gets outside. He probably got ejected. This is just over the weekend, people. He probably got ejected from the pub, like because he reached his limit. And that's what, because you have to understand, bars and pubs and whatnot and taverns, they don't want to be liable if somebody is like takes it too far, so they'll cut you off so you can't drink anymore. And that's just that. And it looks like he had reached that limit and that pinnacle. His friends are escorting him out and he immediately falls on the, like really on his face. You guys seen the clip. So to me, that's a bad look. That is not championship level conduct. And it really begs the question of how much of Fury's identity was him being undefeated and being this slayer. Because Tyson Fury, he tries to act like he doesn't care, but if you listen to what he says, he's always said stuff like, no man from his mother's womb can beat me, I'm the Gypsy King, and la 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 la. Like, he's saying all these things about no man born from his mother's womb has what it takes to defeat GK, the Gypsy King, and he's saying these different things. So now that you got defeated, you no longer are a champion, even though you're pushing for the rematch. That's a tough pill to swallow, because now the rematch is a do or die type of fight as far as I'm concerned. Because if Usyk stops you this time or beats you again, that's going to be right, kind of like David Price, where he thought Tony Thompson, it was a fluke. You try at it again and then you lose again, even worse in the rematch. Or Joe Joyce versus Zelle Zhang. You're like, nah, I could beat this guy, and then you can't beat this guy. So I really feel like it's a dangerous fight for Tyson Fury, and especially with this clip emerging and leaking online, because to me, it does not look like Fury's in a good space for videos like this to come out, and it looks like he might be drowning and wallowing in his sorrows or something, and you know, he's getting it-faced drunk. This is just not a good look for any public figure. I remember old media when David Benavidez recently was on DAZN, and David Benavidez, he was clearly intoxicated. Old media made a big deal about it, like, oh, look at David, this is unprofessional, and this guy wants to fight Canelo. But then when others like the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury, are even more bent, in worse shape, you don't really see nothing. I don't really see people making videos and content about the Gypsy King. But for me, this is the roundup, where we round up all the news that you can use in the world of boxing. And I think this is concerning. It wouldn't even be like, I've seen Fury like this before, like there's other videos and stuff like that. So it's not like it's new behavior, but this is just not championship disciplined behavior. We've seen Broner, who just lost to Blair Cobbs, and things of that nature. So to me, it just doesn't look good for any champion to be out here like that, and then videos leak on the internet of you in this type of condition, especially against a guy like Usyk, who's disciplined, who got to look at you and beat you before when you're undefeated. He goes into the fight with the psychological advantage. Meanwhile, you look like you're not even taking the rematch that you triggered serious by being out in public like this. Let me know what you guys think. The roundup.